Hello there, I came with a message for you today. A retreat back to God is not defeat, and staying in the land God has placed you is not loss. Do you remember the story of Naomi? Currently, there was famine in the land, and Elimelech, Naomi's husband, migrated out of the land with his wife and his two sons. But here's what happened. 10 years later, Naomi was left without her husband and her two sons. This particular land was the land God had promised would flow with milk and honey. But here they were, there was famine in the land and they were forced to migrate. Let me tell you this. Many times, retreating from the promised land poses as the best bet because it may seem as though the fountain of milk and honey has run dry. It's no longer flowing. What we do not realize is migrating out of the placement of God, or migrating out of the plan of God, or migrating from the position God has asked you to serve is migrating out of the presence of God, migrating out of the covering of God. Let's look at the Bible in the book of Ruth 1 verses NLT. This was what happened. Then Bible says, Naomi heard in Moab that the Lord had blessed his people in Judah by giving them good crops again. So Naomi and her daughters-in-law got ready to leave Moab to return to her homeland. Apparently, she now heard that the same land that there was famine is the same land that God is now pouring out his blessings. And then she decided, you know what? I'm going to go back to my father's land. I'm going to go back to the promised land. And this became her testimony. Ruth 4, verse 14 and 17, TPT translation. Then the women of Bethlehem blessed Naomi. Praise Yahweh, who never abandoned you, nor withheld from you a kinsman redeemer. And may his name be famous in Israel. The women of the neighborhood gave him a name, saying, at last, Naomi has a son. They named him Obed. Here's my message for you. Retreating to God is not defeat. You are only defeated outside of his covering. Stay. Stay where God has placed you. Stay where God has asked you to serve. Yes, Naomi had a testimony. The women of her land praised God on her behalf, saying she now has a son by her daughter-in-law Ruth. But then again, her sons and her husband would never have died if she had just stayed in the land God had placed her. So stay. But if you already left, retreating back to God is not defeat. So come running back to his arm before it's too late. You're only defeated outside the covering of God. I hope this blessed you. Peace.